So in African settings, especially in Nigeria, parents believe in beating their children in order to instill discipline. A video was trending online about a man who allegedly beat up his daughter to death. And I think also in the papers today, a woman beat up her child to death and took her to the hospital. So the question is, what ways should a child be disciplined without physical abuse? Tweet to us at TVC Connect using the hashtag Free Your Mind with Airtel. So I went for a conference and they said that, listen, when you want to discipline children, between the age 0 to 5, there's something called the commando time, where you are a commando, you are law. That's when you spank. That's when you use the rod. That's where you are molding a new child to understand what is right and what is wrong. After that phase, there's a second phase, I can't remember the term, that's towards the preteen. There's a second phase, and there's a teenage, that's a counseling. At that time, as a teenager, you begin to get counseling. After teenagers, when you become an adult, you're now a consultant. They come to you when they need your help. So you can now enforce it more.
So I am a Nigerian, an African. In our context, spare the rod, spoil the child. And in our context, we believe that there is a level of discipline that can only be conveyed when you understand the enormity of the consequence of you carrying out a wrong action. So I don't believe in just venting your anger and frustration as a parent by beating your child for doing something wrong.
Right.
That is what leads to battery and abuse of the child, is where the parent is so angry, you broke my TV, you broke my phone, and you take your cane and you beat that child. That's not to correct the child. That is to vent your pent-up anger. I feel that the right way to discipline a child would be to preempt the issues by setting rules and creating consequences of beating. There will still be beating, but it's not out of anger and frustration.
Okay, so recently, a few days ago, my daughter did something that talked to her about it. You know, over and over, she would do it. When she thinks I'm not around, she goes ahead to do it. So I caught her on this particular day, and I asked her to kneel down. And I asked her to kneel down in the compound, and I told her to get out of the shade and kneel in the sun for a few minutes. She even had this look on her face like, what is there? I'll do it. And then I took a picture of her and I sent to her grandma. The grandma called me. I saw 5 missed calls on my phone. What did she do? Please, don't ever do that to her again. This is the woman that beats. Beat. I mean, I still have scars from the beating I got from my mom. I could not believe it. I'm like, really, you?
Grandma's
and when I told
kids.
her, she was like, oh, okay, I see what she did. But why the son? I said, you used to beat me and throw me out and pour water. She was like, okay. So then she said something. She said, when I had you, I was quite young and was not aware of, you know,
we need to have that conversation with our mothers, Mariam, because do they feel, looking at it retrospectively, was it right to actually beat us the way they did?
My mom regrets it. She said it was too much. She said, but that was the way she was raised, so she didn't know any better.
My mom feels
by
it
the
was
time
right.
she had my brother, she didn't do that.
My mom, in hindsight, feels that she did right by beating me because she felt like she was beating sense into me. In hindsight now, I'm so happy she beats me because she beat sense into me. Because I was senselessly following one love that was shocking me. And I would have followed the love into something else.
You were in love. I was a tomboy. I broke every rule in the book. I jumped the fence, they locked the door, I found a way out, I got in the bag of sand to the bed. I did everything. So I am glad I was beaten in retrospect. When I look at what I do and I look at my daughter, I say, So I started learning from people and having conversations when there should be consequences. Because the psychologist I spoke with said, if there are no consequences for actions, she might not get them. There will be no rules at the end of the day. And before she crosses to 7, I'll be in trouble. So we started talking. And every time I have a talk with her, she just does what she wants to do and then comes and tries to have a talk with me on, let me explain. Yes. So just this week, I told her, I said, Madam, we're going to start to measure cane. I won't be beating you, no. Now, for every time you cross, before we talk, you take 2 strokes. So she's even negotiating the strokes. That 2, can I have me 1, please? But before, I didn't used to have that time. When you do something wrong, you go on your knees, you be in your room. When I'm ready, I'll come and give you 6 strokes of cane for what you have done. But now, we talk, and then she takes the cane. When I noticed my son, I spanked him yesterday, although unjustly. although just like was
How old
wrong.
is he?
So he refused to. He's retracing his potty training and losing the habits. So he'll be watching. He's so TV addicted. He's watching TV and you're calling him and he's pressed and he's peeing. So I didn't know. You know, it wasn't pooing. I thought it was. I said to him, I said, you know, we've had this talk. It was just like that. We talk. Everything he repeats it, and I spanked him. So
yeah,
sometimes you need to measure it.
I think also because growing up, I didn't get spanked. I can only remember one experience. My father beat me and I wanted to die. It was just a one-off, and that memory stuck. My mother never spanked me. In my house, because my father was a lawyer, and he likes to discuss and have conversations. If you cannot defend yourself or what you did, you get punished. But usually, I was a good girl. I never really used to cross the line. Only once when I stole biscuit, that one I told everybody that knows me that story, how I was beaten to pulp. But today, I try to have a conversation with my kids and I realized that sometimes you need to spank. That spanking extremely required.
Just to put the dots.
And I think parents need to be
on the
smart. You need to be smart. I used to go to take milk. They will hide milk in the cupboard, and once they go out, I'll find wherever they hide the milk in the house, and I would finish the milk. So what my dad did, he beat me on that one. It didn't work. I'll still go and steal the milk. So they now put the milk on the table in the center of the living room. Oh, yeah, steal it now. It's right there. But because it was not hidden, there was no need to go and steal what is it.
Okay, but
so
for me,
that
you know what?
smart.
There are things that my mom did that I remember till today. There was one time I stole a coin and I used it to buy gum. What she did, she made me go back to the shop and tell them I used money that wasn't mine. I would never forget that. And it made me, you know, I'm very careful of taking people's things. But you see the beating, I can't remember for what reason she beat me. I just know how she beat me. So you see, I think no beating.
And I remember I remember, I do things
I'd like to hear your own stories. Let's talk
Please
about
speak
yours.
to us.
Send us your own stories and even stories of how you've been able to discipline your children or not discipline your children. Hashtag free your mind. Please send that message using the hashtag free your mind with Airtel.